So Wizards. So Wizards. What's good, everyone? It's your boy Natsu with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMVSportsZone, and we are back after a minute. I know it's been a minute, but we had to jump on this live stream right now to talk about this major move that's gone down with the Washington Wizards, trading away Bradley Beal, their star shooting guard, after many years of us saying that they should have done it. They ended up doing it really late, and it costed them in the form of not getting much compensation in return. They, right now, according to Woj from ESPN, we got back multiple second-round picks. Chris Paul will likely actually either buy out or we'll trade him to another team because we'll talk about this a little bit later as to why, but we don't see him being part of the future for the Washington Wizards. But Landry Shamet as well for one Bradley Beal. Finally happened, Noah. What are your thoughts?
Not surprised from my end. I think, Nazi and I talked about it before we hopped on the stream. The Suns' new owner is part of that new wave of modern owners. Utah Jazz owners, similar in that perspective. Young blood, they want to get championships in quick. I think one thing is that people kind of ignore the NHL. You look at who won the Stanley Cup, the Vegas Golden Knights. They have only existed as a franchise for 7 years. That is insane. It has not been done this quickly in any of the major sports leagues. And you see what the owner said in the beginning. When he first introduced the team as a new expansion team for the NHL, he said, we're going to win a championship in 6 to 7 years. And they did. So the Suns, same way, the new owner is treating this as year one. This is year one of the new Phoenix Suns. Already really aggressive, obviously, with the Kevin Durant trade. But clearly, they wanted to bring in a guard. Bradley Beal makes sense. And they're going to go all in. Because all their stars, even Booker and Ayton are pretty sure they're in the middle of their prime. You kind of forget that Devin Booker has been in the league for quite some time now. So it's the time to win is now. I am not surprised at all that they pulled the trigger on the Bradley Beal trade because, the Wizards wanted to get rid of him for a while. I knew it came down to Miami or Phoenix. It makes more sense for Phoenix to bring in Bradley Beal. The Heat, the power of friendship on all. They made the final, but they don't have that real path to returning next year. Unless something really big happens for them.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, and Noah will probably talk about this on the stream, but there was a little bit of it's Father's Day, right? And apparently the agent for Bradley Beal is the father of the current Phoenix Suns CEO. And I would bet that has a lot to do with the transaction that went on today. Juan Gotti, shout out to Juan. Great content creator, making great videos about the Commanders, about DC sports in general. Great guy as well. Says here, just curious, how do you not land Ayton? I get Beal value isn't that high, but yeah, I was surprised that Ayton wasn't a part of this trade package. But to be honest with you, right after we signed Bradley Beal to that mega contract extension, 5 years, $251 million. And a no trade clause, I knew we were doomed. At that point, when you give up $50+ million per year to a Bradley Beal, who, in my opinion, is not a top 15 player in this league, you're really limiting the type of potential that your team could have, for the foreseeable future. And then you add in a no trade clause. I believe Bradley Beal, there's something on Twitter from a couple of years ago that said that Bradley Beal was one of 10 players ever or something like that to get a no trade clause in their contract. Bro, Bradley Beal, no trade clause, like that sort of stipulation is usually reserved for guys like a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant or one of these guys, right? Even KD didn't have a no trade clause, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the most recent notable player with no trade clause is Paul George. That's why he had controlled his destiny when he got traded from Oklahoma.
Yeah. And I've been on the train of the Wizards should have tanked years ago. But because of the owner, Ted Leonsis, who has been on the record of saying, we will never tank. Because of that mentality, we're in the situation today where we traded away Bradley Beal for essentially a bag of chips. This is the Trent Williams move for us. A lot of people are confused. I'm confused, although I understand why his value was so low. Even Brian Whithorse on ESPN a couple of days ago talked about how people were going to be surprised by how low of trade value of compensation that Bradley Beal would get in return, or the Wizards would get in return for Bradley Beal. And he hit the nail on its head with what we've seen today. The Hawk TV, what up, DMV Sports Zone? Shout out Hawk TV, longtime supporter since the very beginning of this channel. My initial thoughts on this trade is absolutely terrible. I agree with you. But really, the beginnings of this trade did not start today. The beginnings of this trade started as soon as we inked that deal, that terrible deal with Bradley Beal. 5 years, $251 million. Bleacher Report, I sent this in our group chat, Noah, yesterday. Bleacher Report had a list of, I believe, the top 5 worst contracts in the NBA that have been dished out in the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And guess what were 2 of the 5 contracts that they noted? The Bradley Beal contract and the Deni Avdija contract. Or I'm sorry, not the Deni, the Davis Bertans. Who knows? Deni might get a freaking long-term extension that goes crazy that we might be questioning years later with the state of this franchise. But Davis Bertans, 5 years, $80 million. I mean, poverty franchise, bro. Poverty franchise.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Noah.
I find it funny because, with the whole Hornets kind of collapsing, Michael Jordan selling the team to the minority owner of the Atlanta Hawks, which is absolutely insane. You're selling the team to a division rival. I thought that was as low as an organization could get in the NBA. But unfortunately, we got the Wizards here. And you mentioned again, we even made a joke about it. I won't be surprised if Deni Avdija gets a big contract extension, because how many more overrated European players are they going to extend? We're not the Dallas Mavericks. This is insane. I still, to this day, could not believe that they really believed that the plan was, let's get Bradley Beal to a max, let's sign Bertans, who had a 13-point per game season, not even close to 20, and you're getting paid $80 million.
He shot higher than 40% from 3-point.
Congratulations! This man's Channing Frye. We basically signed the white Channing Frye for $80 million. That's all we did, and we really thought we could build a championship roster from that team. So, yes, I know everyone's kind of complaining about how this was a terrible trade, but we literally had no leverage. Because Bradley Beal was going to be – he's going to be content with getting empty 22-5-5 on a terrible team like the Wizards, gets paid unbelievable amounts of money. We didn't have much leverage. Any team that would want to acquire him, like we mentioned before, it was coming down to the Miami Heat or the Phoenix Suns. Miami Heat did not want to take on all those assets. And on top of that, speaking of Heat, we also got Kendrick Nunn. The Rui Hachimura trade was terrible. We have done terrible trade after terrible trade. We should just expect mediocrity from the organization. In this case, they try to do everything they can. I mean, to be fair, if Rui Hachimura is getting traded for Kendrick Nunn, who is pretty much never going to play again, and a second-round pick, we shouldn't expect much more for Bradley Beal. This organization is willing to give away key pieces in desperation, and other organizations know it. It's a sinking ship. All the other GMs and owners in this league talk. The Suns know they had all the leverage in the world. So they can give up Chris Paul, who they were going to waive anyways. Think about it. Useless contract. They were going to waive him. And then now we get 2 second-round picks. Again, useless. And now we have Landry Shamet. Great. So now we'll have a starting lineup of Landry Shamet, maybe Kendrick Nunn if he comes back to play, Corey Kispert, Kuzma, and Porzingis is gone, so we'll get Daniel Gafford. So we'll have the most mediocre lineup in the history of basketball. I'm so excited.
Abdullah, welcome.
To the 1 second.
Okay.
He's saving up something.
Yeah.
Bro, guys, I'm like so many things in my head right now. First of all, Tommy Shepard, and for what he's done with that no trade clause, bro, he really had us forced us to trade Bradley Beal to Phoenix, man. And it just sucks so much because when I saw the tweet originally, it just said Chris Paul. Okay, Chris Paul. I couldn't find DeAndre in the tweet. I couldn't find any first-round picks in the tweet. And I'm like, bro, please tell me this is a joke. You got to be freaking kidding me. Bradley Beal, not too long ago, finished second, almost got the scoring title a couple years ago, lost it to Steph Curry, and now he's not even – his trade value is that? I understand, second highest paid contract in NBA history compared to Nikola Jokic. Again, Nikola Jokic just won Finals MVP, should have been back-to-back MVP, won the Finals for the Nuggets franchise, first time in franchise history. It's just so many things, man, with Bradley Beal, and it's a love-hate relationship because obviously we love the guy, but we hate the contract, and he's not playing up to that. He never did, and it really sucks so much because at most he is the number 2 option on a championship team. And again, look what we got, man. Not even DeAndre Ayton. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that some Wizards fans think the Trailblazers are going to trade for Kristaps Porzingis for the 3rd pick, like, let's be realistic. Like, no first-round picks. Miami was going to offer pick 18, and we're going to get second-round picks, and not even next year. It's like probably in a couple of years. This is so stupid, bro. And again, talking about it to the perspective of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, man, this man has so much help. Another reason why no one. I'm sorry, the LeBron propaganda is gonna input right now. How can you compare LeBron James to Kevin Durant? Look what Kevin Durant has with him compared to LeBron James. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul. Like Kevin Durant, bro. I don't get it. You haven't won anything without Steph Curry, man. Steph Curry won without you. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm just so upset at so many things today. Go ahead, guys. My bad.
The super team era isn't over. I know, actually, it's funny because Kevin Harlan, everyone was talking about, with the Nuggets victory, it was the sign of a new era. This is the era of disparity in the league because we've had different champions for 3 straight seasons. The Suns said, screw that. We're going to make another super team. They have $164 million in 4 players. That's absolutely insane. That's almost the entirety cap hit. The only guys that can extend now are rookies and veteran minimum contracts, and they're still in a better state than the Wizards. That's just, like I said, Abdullah is speaking for us in his rage, but the Wizards are just in a terrible place. And think about it, too. You have now set the tone. If Bradley Beal can't even go for a first-round pick, how is Porzingis, who finally is healthy, that piece of glass is finally healthy and had decent stats on a terrible Wizards team this past season, how is he going to go for the number 3 overall pick? You forget, Porzingis is not that much younger than Bradley Beal. His career was pretty much written off until he came to Wizards. The Wizards this season finally had some decent stats, and he stayed relatively healthy. Keep in mind, relatively healthy for Porzingis is 60-plus games. Not even all 82, 60-plus games. If Porzingis is alive until the end of the season, that's considered healthy. That's how much of a liability he is injury-wise. So you telling me an injury-prone, just coming back to its kind of all-star level power forward is worth a 3rd overall pick? That's absolute delusion for Wizards fans. We now have so little assets to trade because you telling me that, okay, even if you throw Porzingis, let's throw in Corey Kispert, the most overrated shooter, the wannabe Kyle Korver, the wannabe JJ Redick, who's going to have a podcast in 2 years that nobody's going to watch, and 2 second-round picks for the 3rd overall pick. They're not going to do anything. We're not going to get a 3rd overall pick. We're not even going to move up 1 spot because the Hornets aren't moving. Because the Hornets aren't about to collapse themselves. They're going to probably draft either Brandon Miller or Scoot, and then we're going to get the leftover guy in the 3rd overall pick? No. And then we're going to talk about – I'm on a rant right now because I'm frustrated. We're going to talk about Johnny Davis. This man can't play basketball. You talk about –
Hold on. Noah. Say that again.
Johnny Davis cannot play basketball. I don't know why he got drafted as high as he did. This man's a 2K created player. You're telling me the franchise future of the Wizards is Corey Kispert, again, Mr. Podcast Boy. Then you got Denny Avdia, who is not Luka. I don't know why our fan base was celebrating when we got this man. Like, so underrated. Our front office is so smart. This man was playing in the Israeli second league. I get that he's a teenager. That's crazy. And then now we got Johnny Davis. These are our 3 players of the future. You telling me that these are 2K created players? I wouldn't even play as Corey Kispert on my team. I'm done for now.
You forgot Rui Hachimura. Oh wait, no, we traded him for Kendrick Nunn. Where is Kendrick Nunn? I keep forgetting he's a Washington Wizard.
The Washington Wizards are the worst run franchise. Have been the worst run franchise in DC. For at least the last 5 years. The problem is, though, a lot of people don't realize it because we got a football team that steals all the headlines on and off the field. Even while we get to at least 7-8 wins a year, right? It's not great, but it's not terrible. Wizards are terrible. They're terrible. Terribly run franchise. I do have hope. I'll say this. I have more hope now than I had like 2 months ago, purely off the fact that we're actually tanking. Like, we're actually tanking. This is something that we've been wanting. I've been wanting personally. I mentioned in the chat. I know there's been some pushback, maybe not from you guys, but there's been some pushback in the chat in terms of the Washington Wizards and tanking and that not being, like what we need for the foreseeable future. It's time. I'm tired of having quote unquote stars on this team and us being terrible. It's finally time to be terrible without having said stars, so then we can actually get superstars on this team and actually get to winning ways, which we haven't over the last 5, 6, 7 years. I'm tired. I'm tired as a Wizards fan. I want this team to do well. This is DC's basketball team. DC, DMV is very rich in basketball, but the Wizards have let us down time in and time again. The Bradley Beal trade, I mentioned this, Abdullah, earlier. Yes, I'm very disappointed in the compensation that we got back, but the beginning of this disastrous trade was not today. The beginning of this disastrous trade was when, as soon as we inked that deal with Bradley Beal, 5 years, $251 million, with a no trade clause. I remember saying instantly that is going to be one of the worst contracts in all of basketball. And I said this earlier to Noah, Abdullah, the Bleacher Report article that I sent out in our group chat yesterday. I think it said top 5 like worst moves in the last 5 years in basketball, or worst contracts. Number one, two of the 5 were Bradley Beal contract and the Davis Bertans contract. And that tells you all you need to know.
Mm-hmm. But see, the problem is, I know, we agree with you, Nati. We knew that this was a bad contract. Problem is, I don't know if we should be happy about the tank. Like Twan said, great, we should be, because
I'd rather be terrible and tank than be terrible.
Okay, great. We're gonna tank, and we're gonna get Masas Buzelis, who I know the Wizards love. He's tall European dude. We love him. Well, holy crap, he's Denny Avdija. He's Luka now. But the problem is, knowing more about the behind the scenes of this organization. This is not going to make headlines, but you're going to hear it here first on this stream. Y'all should be happy that you're here. Almost the entirety of the athletic training staff has left the Wizards. If the athletic training staff doesn't believe even in the organization, that's why nobody wants to come to DC. It's not about, because like you said, we get Westbrook, we had Bradley Beal, we had some decent players on this team. But this team, the facilities are outdated. The athletic trainers are underpaid, so they're not going to be happy. They're not putting their best step forward. They're not allowed to be who they are because of Monumental Sports Network. That's the business side, too. So even if we get Buzelis, he ends up being fantastic. What is to say that he's going to stay on this team? If this organization is already so poorly run, he might not stay long term. And on top of that, who's going to come to DC? Buzelis could end up being a superstar, but who's going to come? Because obviously the next generation of players have come, feeling really old now. All our favorite players are on the verge of retirement. So we got to think about this 5 years from now in the new era of basketball, where we got Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball as the stars of this league. Now Buzelis is a young guy coming up. What is going to happen to the Wizards organization? They're not going to. It's going to be an endless cycle unless something is done internally, just like with the Commanders. There needs to be a sweep of the organization, not just the players. This Bradley Beal trade is a distraction to the greater problem, because then we're just going to get another Bradley Beal. We're going to overpay Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is going to get $200 million because he's going to get 25 points a game, shooting 42%, and he's going to get a max. There's going to be another Bradley Beal. There's going to be another terrible Hachimura trade. Thomas Bryant, he didn't play that much. Let's get that straight. He did not play at all, actually, but he's still a great young energy center. And I can already see it happening with Gafford. Daniel Gafford, we talk about all the time, is a great young center. He's got size, he got defense, rebounding, and he plays 15 minutes a game because they're not going to play him. That's absolutely insane. So that's the problem. We have the whole organization as a whole that needs to be changed. I love Wes Unseld Jr., his father's a legend. We talked about in previous streams too. The coaching, was that a Nepo hire or what was this? Because it didn't change anything. It didn't change the culture of anything. So I think as mad as we are about the Bradley Beal trade, it just shows that the whole organization needs to be changed. If people with talent are leading the organization even behind the scenes, stuff that nobody even talks about, nobody even thinks about. Nobody thinks about the athletic trainer staff until Kyle Kuzma blows his knee out and there's a terrible medical staff to help him rehab. And there's nobody to develop these young players. Pointless.
Yeah. Abdullah, I mean,
Dude, I am so upset. Like the fact that we were thinking about, oh, maybe Tyler Hero, maybe DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, 38-year-old Chris Paul. Maybe 10 years ago, this would be a good trade. 38-year-old Chris Paul, Landry Shamet. I mean, I saw Evan say that they're gonna try to trade Chris Paul to the Clippers reunite. But what the heck are the Clippers gonna give us? Brandon Boston? Another second round pick. Bro, just think about it. Bradley freaking Beal. Not even a first round pick. Seconds. We can't even draft at pick 7 or 8. How the hell are we going to draft a steal in the second round? It doesn't make any sense. And here I am thinking, oh my God, they got this guy. They got this guy. They're forming the Avengers in the front office. And I understand they were given a hard assignment. But this is what we come up with, bro, with Bradley Beal. Tommy Shepard should be wanted in the streets of Washington. MTC, no trade clause. My goodness, bro. Another yes man from the Ernie Grunfeld era. I'm so upset, man. But like Naughty said, I think positively as a Wizards fan. Tanking. That's we get LeBron James coming to DC. That is true.
Yeah, Bronny. We're gonna draft. We'll still overdraft him. We'll draft him first overall, baby. We're gonna draft Bronny first overall. LeBron gonna come for one season. The tickets are gonna sell out, and then we're gonna be trash again.
I mean, LeBron has talked up about how, like, DC is a nice city to play in and to.
Yeah, KD said the same thing where we are now.
Yo, KD, bro. Let's talk about KD.
Yeah, please talk about Kevin Durant, please.
Let's talk about KD. Let's talk about KD some more. Let's talk.
We don't need to talk about that snake.
Let's talk about KD. There's so many angles to take with KD. First and foremost, this man's is scared of playing in DC. Let me do this for 1 second, guys. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on, guys. Sorry. There we go. Kevin Durant, you are scared to play for your hometown team, the Washington Wizards. Scared. I don't know why. You talk about how you want to pursue other opportunities, and maybe you have people back home that are going to drive you crazy if you come back home. Bro, you're a Kevin freaking Durant, as you continue to say. Play for your hometown team. Like, I don't get it. Like, what? Like, how do you grow up in this area? And you're. It's not like you hate this area. You're a fan of the Commanders. You're a fan of a lot of the DC sports teams. You invest back into the community. You seem like a good guy in the community. But for some reason, when it comes to the Wizards, you don't want to show them love. Not only do you not show them love, you take away superstar players for bags of chips. I don't understand what hometown superstar has done less for their hometown team than Kevin Durant has done for the Wizards. I name me another player. And I'm not even getting to the whole being a snake, joining the 73-9 record-breaking Golden State Warriors, forming super teams time and time again, only to form super teams where you fall flat. You can't win championships unless you're on the Warriors. I didn't even get into all that. I'm getting to strictly you doing literally absolutely nothing for your hometown basketball team. I get it. When you grew up in the late 80s, 90s. So Wizards weren't much. I mean, nothing has changed the last 30 years, if we're going to be honest with this team. But the Wizards weren't much, right? So I get it. It's not like, you grew up in LA, you're rooting for the Lakers and they were winning all the time. We're rooting for the Bulls in Chicago. I get that. But you've done absolutely nothing for the Washington Wizards, bro. Nothing. I don't get it. You didn't even play college basketball here. Okay? Like, I get you did a lot of great things in high school growing up. I get it, bro. And I get that you reinvest back into the community. I see the work that you do. I like and retweet all of that. And I share all of that. But when it comes to playing for your Wizards or doing some positive thing for the professional basketball team, that's nowhere to be found. And in my opinion, like, again, I didn't even get into the super teams, all that. I'm talking about strictly not wanting to play for your hometown team. Like, that definitely brings you down my all-time rankings, just purely off.
All right, to be fair, I did just call him a snake. But the Wizards are a terribly run organization.
I don't Noah. The Cavs were a terribly run organization. They
Yeah,
still
I wonder if
are.
they
Like,
that
they got
right.
lucky
But that's
with
why
their
I don't.
draft pick.
But Kevin Durant doesn't want to even be compared to LeBron because he can't be. It's the media trying to compare him. LeBron's in another tier. I think, like I said, it's LeBron, a traffic cone, then Jordan, and then
I don't disagree with him.
yeah, exactly. And then on top of Kevin Durant never wanted to be part of the GOAT conversation. He's happy to where he is. I mean, it is hard from the player perspective. As the fan, it is disappointing. But we just saw what happened to Kemba Walker when he came home to New York. His career got ruined. It was already on the downhill. He said, I'm going to come home. Thibodeau was like, no, you're going to run yourself into the ground. We're going to call you washed. And he gets booed out of his own home stadium. And now he's a free agent.
No, that's
so
not the same
I don't know.
type of player.
Durant sees what happened to Kemba. For every homecoming, there's always a lot of homecomings that don't work. So there's no guarantee that Durant's homecoming would have even worked. It would have been great to see him on the roster, but the Wizards suck.
Oh my God.
What would he have done if he got here? He would have scored 28 a game.
No, at that time it was John Wall, Beal, and KD.
Yeah. So that makes sense. But we should just give up on the train now. Forget about him, bro. We don't. He's got Team Durant, and they play. They do great. Noah, they do great AAU stuff.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but too many people in our lifetimes, last 10, 15 years, have compared KD to LeBron James, and I know a lot of them. And I'm not making any excuses for KD. I don't care if this team wins 15 games or won 15 games last year, whatever. This man is afraid to join his hometown team, bro. If he was really about that life in terms of like wanting to play for his hometown team and really put DC on the map in terms of professional basketball, all of what you said, while valid, wouldn't matter because they would build around him. But he's scared. He doesn't want to play here. He wants to play for the freaking Golden State Warriors. Go and play for the Phoenix Suns. Go and join Devin Booker and Chris Paul at the time and DeAndre Ayton. Go and ask for Bradley Beal to join forces with you to form another super team in this league when we thought we were done with them. He wants an easy path to a championship. And it just it frustrates me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong there.
Like, he's a great player. But it just...
I mean, even in this perspective, too, it makes no sense for the Suns either. I don't think we've even talked about the Suns' perspective. I get it. Booker and Beal have played point guard, but they've played emergency point guard. They're not a true point guard. You have two shooting guards and Kevin Durant and DeAndre Ayton. So, yes, super team on paper, but does this really do anything? Does this really change anything? Bradley Beal can't play defense. You telling me that either Booker or Bradley Beal is going to guard a healthy, now in his prime, Jamal Murray? Wake up. Kevin Durant, if you pull in the strings and you refuse to come to DC, like you said, at least get a true point guard that can play some defense. Now you got Bradley Beal, who is a great player, don't get me wrong, can't play defense. You lost to the Nuggets because you can't play defense. So let's get another guard that can score and cannot play defense. That doesn't make any sense. If Kevin Durant has pulling the strings, then he needs to be more like the GM and get some good players that can fit around him. He just got another superstar on paper, but it's not 2K. They're not going to win anything. Ish Smith.
No, don't laugh. Put some respect on Ish Smith and Thomas Bryant's names, okay? They are NBA champions, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to put respect on I'll put respect on Ish Smith's name and Jeff Green. Thomas Bryant did not play a second, and he's not a veteran either. Ish Smith was mentoring Jamal Murray. He said it in an interview himself. Thomas Bryant's there to give 25 high fives a game, okay? So I'll give my props. Yeah, there we go. Jeff Green, Ish Smith, and DeAndre Jordan. There's a reason they had the veteran picture, and Thomas Bryant not in that picture. That's all I'm going to say.
Disrespect. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, if this man Kevin Durant does not win a title for this, I genuinely don't know what to say. I root for the man. He broke my heart in 2016 when I first started watching basketball. But if you don't win it, bro, like, come on. It just looks so bad. And again, I know he doesn't care, but it just looks so bad. And as a KD fan, like, how can you acknowledge that he has a better legacy than LeBron James and other all-time greats? It just doesn't make any sense at all. And when it comes back to the Wizards, man, I mean, I really hope this is going to turn things around because I just can't take it anymore. Losing guys like Bradley Beal. I heard a lot when we lost Steve Buckhands, the GOAT. Then we lost Justin Kutcher. It's just, oh, man, bro. Things are falling apart, but hopefully brighter days are to come because the only way to go is up when you hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would argue KD doesn't win championships without the Golden State Warriors infrastructure. But okay, if you want to say specifically,
Without Steph Curry.
No, it's the Golden State. No,
so
it is
it's
Golden
the
State.
team. It's the team. Yeah, Curry.
I think Abdullah, you're forgetting that I'm not talking about KD winning a championship like last year with the Warriors, like with that type of team where Steph Curry was obviously like he was the reason why they won, right? We're talking about 2016, Klay Thompson was in his prime, Draymond Green was in his prime. Like we're talking about guys that were like all-stars. Remember 4 all-stars on that team. Remember that.
Iguodala, they had Barbosa, they had the perfect role-playing crew, Livingston.
But that's what makes it bad, bro. Like they won before you, they won with you, and they won after you. You haven't won without them. And you're Kevin Durant, bro. You talk a lot of the burner accounts and all. It just really sucks. He's the hometown. I want to support this man so much, but stuff like this, it just sucks, man. It really does.
See, this is why after 2016, I moved on as shouting out for Oladipo and Fultz, and then that the DMV curse carried over. So I'm happy Fultz is doing well. I think he could be a most improved player next season. But Oladipo, I mean, I'll miss you on the Pacers. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I was gonna get to one more comment on here. Where did I see it? Oh, yeah. Oh, this core, absolutely wonderful. Benny Avdia, Isaiah Todd, Corey Kispert.
Baby.
We cooking something crazy, bro. Cooking something crazy.
No, they better make Wizards tickets cheap, bro. I'm not even joking.
They're gonna do. Even last season, they were like $10 for nosebleeds. They were like literally $10 to $15.
Yep. The Washington Wizards. I do hope. I'm a Nats fan, and I see the progress that the Nats are making, and I see, they've been tanking, and they traded away all their guys midway point last season, and they look like they have a couple of studs, the pitching staff, the rotation. I'm sorry, in terms of their starting lineup as well. Like Nationals look like they're on the upward trajectory, and I could see them being in contention relatively soon. I hope the Wizards could potentially follow suit on that plan, like tank, be as bad as possible, trade away your quote unquote star players, and draft some guys really high, and we'll see what happens after that. I hope they can follow that plan. I hope it follows through. And I'll say this again. I know the draft compensation that we got back, or the compensation in general today, was terrible. I get it. But I'm more confident now than I was 2 months ago in terms of us being on the upward trajectory. I know that's not saying a lot because we are the Washington Wizards. And I mean, the Washington Wizards are the Washington Wizards, but I'm still more confident now than I was 2 months ago. Hopefully Michael Winger, I don't know with this move, but hopefully like with his legacy with the Clippers and what he did with the Thunder, like hopefully could turn things around here in DC, and we could actually be a winning team for once. But with that being said, last thoughts, Abdullah, Noah, on today and the Wizards' future. We'll start with Noah.
Yeah, I think we kind of spoke on it, and we talked about the Suns' perspective, the Wizards' perspective. It's kind of funny when you're at rock bottom. It's kind of fun because you don't know, like literally, if anything happens, it's better than what's already existed. My thoughts are next season we are going to tank. We're going to try to get Musmastis Buzelis because, like I said, his Wizards love European dudes for some reason. They think they're going to find Jokic. I think Buzelis is a great prospect. If he joins the Wizards, rest in peace his career. But we need to start from somewhere. I do think that this is going to be interesting too. With teams with nothing to lose that are tanking, you might see, you never know, from a fantasy perspective, you might see a Kuzma breakout season. Because if he's got absolutely nothing to lose.
Whoa. You think Kuzma's staying on this team?
At least for one more year. I think he stays here for another year, and he just shoots the ball and gets paid in the offseason. But like I said, from a statistical and a fantasy perspective, keep an eye on Kuzma. He's definitely going to get the green light to shoot 100 times a game. So you might see something crazy because if Porzingis is gone too, he definitely shooting 40 times a game. So it's entertaining stuff to see. But, I mean, I think long story short, we are definitely going to tank. It is something that we need to do. And hopefully the small steps by bringing in the right people have changed the organization. It is tough to see that athletic training staff and some other people have left. They're going to have to be replaced. But hopefully that can happen. My hopes aren't super high, but we got to start from somewhere. So it's going to be fun. We can all buy some Wizard tickets for $10 and go watch Kuzma shoot 40 times a game, and it'll be fun.
I don't think we can tank though and give Kuzma a big contract. I don't think you could have both of those things at once. I think them trading away Bradley Beal is a sign that they're not gonna. I get Kuzma's younger slightly, but like I don't see them. I don't see Kuzma agreeing. Why would Kuzma agree to be with the Wizards? We're forgetting about that.
Because this is the Wizards. We know we can overpay this man. This man might have about to get $150 million, bro. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still here, getting overpaid, shooting 4 times a game.
No, I think you trade Kuzma, trade KP, get rid of the big three, the big three.
What did I say, Abdullah? When they kept talking about the big three.
What am I supposed to do, bro? I can't advertise anything if there's no product, you know.
You have to have hope.
That's what I'm saying. You just gotta think about it, bro. In the Wizards' lifetime of us being fans, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and John Wall. That is crazy. Chris Paul probably not going to play. He's probably going to get traded or waived. But it's just crazy to think about, man. But with that being said, I mean, there's only way up. And just got to have hope. Watching Wizards games next season is going to be hard. But still, I'm a loyal fan. And as soon as LeBron retires, probably going to follow Jokic and still have some hope for the Wizards.
I said follow
not Jokic, bro. Come on, I don't want to
watch. Come on, bro. That man is modernizing the game.
I'm not trying to watch boring basketball, bro. Give me Anthony Edwards.
Respect on Jokic, bro.
I have respect for him. He's the best player in the league right now. But I'm saying in terms of entertainment value, I want to see Anthony Edwards dunk on somebody. I want to see somebody who can shoot. I don't want to see a guy that plays super analytical basketball. A little shimmy, little chuck up three that goes in. That's demoralizing as heck. But
No, after watching that Lakers series for most of those games, too. I'm not just talking about the last 10 minutes of those games. Watching those games, seeing what Jokic did, bro, he gained all my respect from that series. And then to see him win, I mean, I expected it, but still, Jokic's best player in basketball. But off of that subject, I want to say one last thing with regards to Wizards. So it was a couple weeks ago. It was like 3 weeks ago. I was with family celebrating a graduation. And I was talking. I didn't meet this person before this point, but he was a cousin of a cousin, the cousin that was graduating. And we were talking about DC sports. He's a big DC sports fan. And we're talking about the Wizards. Or I brought up the Wizards, right? And he asked me, because he knew about my podcast, because I told him about it. And he knew about, me talking about DC sports and me loving to do it. And he was like, the Commanders, there's hope with Commanders. Wizards, there's hope. And then I was like, as soon as he said the Wizards, I was like, what are you talking about? There's no hope. Wizards? You're crazy. And I started roasting the Wizards. I call them trash. I don't take anything back. I call them trash. And then he started saying, bro, chill out. There's people hearing you here. Don't just say it loudly that the Wizards are that's your hometown team. And to this day, I remember that memory because I am a DC sports fan. I'm a fan of all the teams. Okay? A fan of all the teams. I am not a propagandist. I am not someone who's going to hype up this team when they deserve no hype. I'm not someone who is going to be a rah-rah guy when these teams don't deserve rah-rah fans or rah-rah moments, I guess, right? When these teams deserve to be called out, they will be called out by me. That doesn't make you any less of a fan. If you are constantly following these teams, reading articles about these teams in the bare minimum amount of free time that you have, and you reserve that time to read about the Commanders, to read about the Wizards, to read about the Capitals, Nationals, to follow up on these teams, you are a fan. You are a diehard fan if you stick with them through thick and thin. Okay? Calling them out, using your platform, whatever you have to call them out, does not make you any less of a fan.
If anything, make you more of a fan because you're passionate.
Because
you care. Because it's one thing if you just talk highly of them and ignore everything bad that's going on with the team and don't even talk about it. Because in my opinion, everybody has their own opinion. It's fine. But in my opinion, that shows you don't really. Are you really like for this team's improvement? Are you really for this team making strides to get to a point where we can all actually be proud of these teams? But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because I will roast these teams. I do not care. I will roast these teams. This is what this platform is for. Not just roasting them, like applauding them, being hyped about them. Watch all of our reactions on this channel after Commanders wins. Bro, we are ecstatic. Like we're through the moon. I remember them, especially like Abdullah and Noah, like your guys' reactions, Evan, like all of your guys' reactions. We're excited. Even me. Hey, go look at our Instagram page. But that doesn't mean when this team makes terrible or these teams make terrible decisions, we can't call them out on that. Okay. I just seen a lot of, oh, we gotta be rah-rah. You can't say anything bad. You can't hype up a player on a different team because that's not your own team. That's not your loyal team and stuff. I'm done with that. Okay. The Washington Wizards made a terrible move today that did not start today. It started years ago when we signed that 5-year, $251 million extension to Bradley Beal. But I can also say in the same breath that I am, again, more excited about this team because of the fact that we're actually tanking. We're going to be trash this year. Probably going to be trash the year after that. But I think we're going, believe it or not, I think we're going in the upward trajectory. So that's all I have to say. Sorry for that long spiel, but appreciate everybody joining the chat. Hawk TV. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Shout out to Hawk TV saying Xavier Cooks. That was our last Wizards post. We got the MVP. We got an MVP on the team.
Yes. Naeem as well. Ball Boys. Everybody. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for joining. Kevin Abreu. I noticed there's some new people as well in this chat. Appreciate you guys. And we talked about this off screen, but hopefully there will be more content from all of us on a consistent basis soon to come. Yeah, man, we got a lot of Commanders content, especially. But let's go. This is DMV Sports Zone. Appreciate you guys for joining. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel, where we like to post fire content like this as much as possible. Also, go follow our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone, Instagram page all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our TikTok page at DMV Sports Zone as well. Dang, I really missed saying all that. It's been a long time. But with that being said, hope you guys have a great rest of your Father's Day. And see you on the next one. Peace.